Do 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 do. Let's see if I can turn it. Holy shit! So let me adjust this. Welcome back to SketchCraft Live, folks. It's been a hot minute since we did this podcast thing. Joining me tonight is Ashley West from GangFeather.com. Let me unmute the mic, Ashley. Say hello.
Hello.
Also joining in is Mega Potato Brandon Let Heavy James. Brandon, say hello.
Hi, everybody.
So my room is still destroyed from Comic-Con, and we're going to talk about Comic-Con right here in a minute. Quick note for all the people that helped out with the copyright thing, it's been taken care of, so don't harass anybody anymore. All right, let's move on. So the last we all hung out here, we were preparing for the, what's it called, Brandon? The Amazing Vegas Con? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, the Amazing Vegas Con.
The Amazing Vegas Con.
Amazing.
Amazing. Apostrophe. Amazing. And that was fun, right? That was easy, right? No big deal. Right, guys? We just right off the shoulder.
Real quick. You saw in the corner, right? Your misses went in and out.
Oh.
All right,
whatever.
Nothing
I can do about this right now, guys. We're doing this. This show is not fully.
I didn't even see it. I was looking down.
So you all know, what do I say about this? This place is totally fucking disarrayed right now from Comic-Con. So, how do I say this? There's people out there that do conventions for a living. They go from con to con to con to con, and they seem to have a great time. Personally, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I do one con a year, and it nearly wrecks me. Fucks up my whole life, fucks up my entire life, screws up my work schedule, puts everything off. Every major catastrophe I've ever had almost wraps around doing a con or a Kickstarter in some way. Like, I'm going to do a Kickstarter, and then, like, my dad dies, you know? Or I'll just finish one, and then some weird shit happens. In this case, sad to say, right when we got back from con, my wife's father got diagnosed with leukemia, so we had to run out to deal with that nonsense. So that ate up a few weeks, and then I came back, and I am still recovering from being sick. Brandon, I called you when I was sick, like when I first got that. How did that sound?
Deathly.
So, and I take pretty good care of it. You don't say I'm not severely overweight here. You know, I take care of myself. You know, I wear Mega Man shirts daily, so, you know, got good karma. But my goodness, folks, let's break down what Amazing Vegas Con is like. So, to prepare for the con, I normally bring some prints and I do commissions. I make the money mostly from prints and commissions, mostly prints than commissions. Unless a convention goes horribly wrong, then I have to make all my money from commissions. And when I say money, it costs me about $1,000 to do a con. You're talking about gas, you're talking about tables, you're talking about supplies, you're talking about hotel, you're talking about food. That's like 5 things right there.
Yeah.
Cost me about $1,000. This year, now normally Brandon pays a portion, right, Brandon?
Yeah.
But this year, Brandon ain't selling anything because I had to put the kibosh on Brandon. Or the year before, you didn't even do anything. I think you sold like 3 commissions, and I ended up having to help you to really fucking draw the shit out of those. So that didn't help me. So I said, this year, Brandon takes a break. I'll cover the cost. So I had to get some extra prints. I brought extra materials. I also got an extra couple banners. If you look on the Facebook page, you'll see a picture there. We got new banners. And I brought Ashley in, and Ashley was cool. You covered a little portion of the table, right, Ashley?
Yeah.
And so I figured, you know, this should break even, make an extra $500-600, which I can put towards shipping Game Cave later this year because that's coming out of my pocket. Here's what happened. Con didn't really do that well. I didn't do horribly. Sort of broke even. Sort of, not really. The putting together of prints was just a nightmare to deal with. I mean, it was just a fucking colossal nightmare. It's just a lot of inventory to go through. The stuff has to be. This is the first time I had to have my printer send stuff to me outside of a state. Normally, I just go pick the shit up, come back. And here locally, I tried 2 of their printers, and they sucked. Like, they were really bad. And they wanted to charge me more. I'm not going to do that. So I went through my old printer, and I was like, well, worst comes to worst. Like, I did the math. How much is it for them to ship them? How much is it for me to drive to California, pick the shit up, drive it back if I have to? You know, and the shipping wasn't so much. It was just coordinating everything and making sure they got everything right. And I had to do it well enough in advance that there was a buffer room for error, which there were some errors. Will happen. So it just ate up a lot of my time. A lot of my time. You guys probably noticed at that moment I wasn't streaming for like a month much.
Right.
2 reasons. 1, I was doing that. And 2, I was working on the first strike stuff for IDW. And since that project wasn't announced yet, they didn't want me to show anything. IDW doesn't have a problem with me ever posting progress pics, just they didn't want that project announced. That's how it
And
worked
three, my computer broke the week before con, so then I was unable to upload past videos for you.
So that's going into con, right? So going into con, I already lost about a month. Plus I had Game Informer, which took up another 3 weeks of my time. So almost a month. And Brandon's computer broke. Right. Ashley, what was your preparation for con like?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, the day, as far as like prepping, I did it all pretty gradual. I was able to, just because of the way things are right now. But the one thing was like, I had like 2 prints left, and my computer ran out of photo magenta ink, and I was like, no, you know. So I was like, Rob.
Yeah, you know.
Where do I go?
You're like, what do I do?
But, what do? Yeah, but no. Yeah, it was all good. I got it like rushed ordered, but that was like my only like, you know. But yeah, everything was pretty easy. I mean, I just had to, you know, I flew. You guys drove. I flew, so I had that to do.
Baller.
Lugging things around, my back started to get sore. I mean, that was like the worst of it. So
you put all your supplies in your luggage and brought it with you on flight, or did you check it in?
I had to check the bag. It was too big.
Now, you didn't have any problems with that?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, everyone leaving Comic-Con in San Diego this weekend, apparently did if they flew United, because United put up a sign that says, if at Comic-Con attendees, if you have comic books in your checked luggage, you need to take them out.
Wow.
No reason why. You know, apparently they're going to take down I don't fucking, no one knows. They blame the TSA, and apparently the TSA has blamed United. No one knows. My guess is they just wanted to dick with people. So
when they say take them out, they mean take them out and throw them away, or
yeah.
What do they mean? That's cruel.
Yeah,
I'll just hold on to mine.
Bring them on the plane. So then you're carrying. I don't know. Doesn't make any fucking. It's the weight's on the plane. It can't be the weight, because the weight is with you on the plane.
The thing is, people buy shit all the time on vacation. What's the difference?
It's specifically targeted Comic-Con. Look, people, don't fly United. They all suck, but let's just fuck that one over. You know what I mean? Let's all just collectively fuck United. All right. So that was you preparing for con. Now, I have a car, and I have to drive. I was going to drive all my stuff to Vegas, because this shipping stuff, I could ship it to the Kinko's at the convention center if I had an extra week or two for, I think it was like $400. But I'm like, I'm not spending another $400 fucking dollars to ship some shit. So I'm going to drive all the stuff, and it's a 12-hour drive. Now, I don't mind driving 12 hours. Some people do. I don't really get road fatigue. I have 30 years of Howard Stern and Art Bell to listen to. I endlessly can listen to fucking... As long as I'm laughing, I can stay up forever. So I just listen to comedy, basically, from here all the way down to Vegas. But I do get tired. I mean, I am like physically like, that was fun, you know? So I drove down there 12 hours to Vegas with all the stuff. I pull in. Brandon, you got there later that night, right?
I got there around 4 a.m., 3 a.m.
What time did you get in, Ashley?
On Thursday?
Yeah.
We were supposed to get in like at 5, but you know, the flight was delayed. So we got in like at like 7, but we didn't get to the actual hotel like till like 9, and then the line was like
The line.
crazy.
We stayed
I
at,
just waited in the car. My mom took care of it. I was like, whatever, I'll just car duty.
so we stayed at the Westgate Hotel. Now, last year we stayed at the Renaissance. So here's how it works, right? Like, here's the convention center. And on this side would be the Renaissance, right next to the convention center. On the far opposite side would be the Westgate, like this. And what I was told was that if we go with the Westgate, it'll be a little bit cheaper for everyone because you get the con rate on top of the fact that the rooms are cheaper too. And then on top of all that, it'll be all connected, so we won't ever have to go outside. Because last year, Brandon, you had to like walk the stuff across a whole parking lot to get into the convention center. Well, that was a lie. So the Westgate is connected to the convention center except for one part. There's one little utility stop. You have to walk out and go in. And you go, well, what's the big deal about that? The big deal is when you go out and go in, you didn't have to go. How do I say this? So let's look at this. Back here is where Artist Alley is. This is the hotel. Like this, right? Way over here is the door. So we thought we could just walk from here to the back entrance with our exhibitor's badge. No. They made us go through the front, up the stairs, down the stairs, through the front of the con, and all the way back in the front every time we wanted to leave con and go to the hotel. It's an additional, what, 10 minutes of, it could be 15 depending on how much foot traffic there is. Or it could have just been like a 1-minute walk across. You know, because for some reason they can't, I don't understand why they look at your badge just walking in. Like, you just hold it up, you walk in. Yeah. But if you're from the back, you hold it up. No, we can't do that. It's an exhibitor's badge too, dude. You got a special exhibitor's thing, you know? So, I don't know, man. It was a weird situation. So okay, fine. That's a little bit of walking. But the thing is, the Renaissance Hotel is a rather newer hotel. It's featured in Heroes Season 1. So if you go watch Heroes Season 1, there's this hotel where Hero and his buddy, his work buddy, they're in a hotel. That's the Renaissance. I know because when that came out, I had just stayed there for another work-related thing, and I was like, that's my room. Oh, my God. The Westgate used to be the Hilton where the Star Trek Experience was, and now it looks like it's all Elvised out and shit. Super old. The elevators in the Renaissance are nice. It's connected to a carport. They go up, they go down super fast. The elevators at the Westgate are not connected. The hotel isn't connected to the carport. It's across a giant walkway. But the elevators are horrendously.
Oh my God.
They're the worst elevators I've ever been on.
Scary.
They're scary. They don't work right. They stop. They
stop at like a foot below the actual level where you step out.
What?
Yeah.
That didn't happen to me.
That happened to us. Yeah. It happened to something football. You got to go up like in a fucking Resident Evil movie or something.
Dude.
They move incredibly slow. Like, I cannot. And the stairwell doesn't connect properly from the upstairs to the ground floor. There's actually
Ashley, and Ashley's mom were like, we'll take the stairs.
We did take the
And somehow we ended up like on the other end of the hotel and convention center. I'm like, where the? And
yeah,
it was like it wasn't a parking lot. It was like the trailer entrance where they drop off like all the food or something.
And the door was like, we were like, if we go out, is there an alarm that's gonna sound? Like, it didn't even look like you're supposed to go out the door.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna die out there.
Yeah.
It was scary. It was like you step out and you're like, fuck, where am I?
So let me put it in context, right? So our room is like here, let's say here, right? And then out this way, across a parking lot, all the way over off my screen is this carport. To check out, I had to move the remaining art materials that I was drawing in the room with from my room to the car, then go check out. How long do you think it would take to walk one crate of stuff from your room to your car and to the line, Brandon? How long do you think that should take you?
It should take me just 10 minutes.
It took 40 minutes. It took 45 minutes. I checked that checkout was at 10. I left at 8:40 and didn't get back to almost 9. I mean, sorry, 10. You know, almost to checkout time. Because I had to go on the elevator, shove myself in the back corner, go up, it's like 20 floors, dude. Like you had to go all the way up to, and every fucking floor I'm stopping. People are like, no, we want. They would click down, and the up would stop for them. So we had to
Yeah.
constantly tell people, no, we're going up. So I just sat on the elevator for 20 minutes until I could go all the way back down, all the way back down to the very bottom, and then walk my shit out to the car, and then go check out. This is the worst hotel ever, man. Like, it is the worst hotel.
But that buffet, though.
That
Oh,
buffet
yeah.
is some of the worst food I've ever had. Like,
Yeah.
it's 27.
Except
Go ahead.
what? No, I was gonna say the bread pudding was good, but everything else it was.
It's called the
So-
fresh basil. I like to say basil because it irks my wife.
Basil.
I like basil. I watch all this Australian MasterChef, and I just like to co-op their appropriate their Kiwi their Australian accents. So it's oregano, not oregano. I like that. And basil.
Well, so Rob and Ashley had a good chunk of commissions to do. So
Hold
we were
on, I
like-
want to talk about this buffet.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I'm.
it's
That's what
called
I'm
the
getting at. Why we?
yeah. So okay, Brandon, explain why you insisted we keep eating there.
Well, the first night was just because you guys had commissions, and I was insanely tired from. I do all the setting up. Rob's the talent. I'm the muscle. I push all the crates. I set up all the banners. I carry everything. Rob sits in the car on his phone. That's not a lie, but he's earned it, so I do it. So I was extremely tired, and I was like, I don't want to drive us anywhere tonight. Let's just try this buffet. The buffet was the first night was like, all right. It's kind of like a worse Panda Express or something. It just wasn't that great.
It's $27.50 a head, Brandon. It's
And
$27.50
plus
a head.
tip.
Plus, you gotta tip these people for getting you a fucking root beer. I mean, just they had. What crazy part is they had soda fountains there. They had soda fountains right there, but you couldn't use them. They didn't work. They still had to get your drink. So I'm like, let me get this. I feed myself and I still have to tip you. I mean, this is mean, man. It's mean.
Should have went to Benihana.
Benihana is $100. It's like $50 a head, bro.
I don't know. I've never
So
been there.
like, you're like, well, why'd you put up with it? I'm like, well, normally, like I did the math on what my wife and I spent on food last year, but normally we go out to nice places to eat. And I'm like, well, I'm still saving some money because we ate at Nine Fine Irishman, we go to Gordon Ramsay. So I'm like, well, I'm saving money. But this food, guys, I eat a very simple diet. Like you could say I'm a low carber, but whatever you want to say. But like I have eggs, a piece of cheese, half a plum, a third of a cup of cottage cheese.
You eat like a rabbit.
I eat
But that's
a little.
kind of how I eat too.
Yeah, that's how I eat every day. I eat very clean. I eat some zero, fucking whatever yogurt. No sugar, some strawberries, little broccoli.
Yeah.
Like that's my diet. So we get there, and this is this food is kind of like, I mean, it's like just let's just take Rob's insides and just, you know what I mean? The truffle shuffle.
Did you feel weird after eating?
Yeah, I
food?
felt weird.
Really?
It felt
Well, I didn't
horrible.
feel weird at all. I just was like, this is not what I eat, but whatever.
No, as you get older, Ashley, your body's like, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay, Rob.
I know, because
know?
I was like, I was just gonna eat a whole bunch of sweets and just splurge and
And my feet
whatever.
expand. I'm like that guy in Big Trouble in Little China that gets bigger, like I'm just puffing out and shit. Brandon like works out, so like there's some level of like his body's like, oh, I'll just eat whatever you give me, I'll
Pretty
convert
much.
to muscle. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I.
I tried to work out on the trip, but apparently Miss Gangfeather likes to lie and play
I
tricks.
was. Yeah.
I go, hey, Ashley, you went to the gym? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, awesome. I'd like to go work out because I'm feeling like shit from that food. And she's like, yeah, third floor, go do it up. I'm like, yes. I take the fucking 8 hours down the elevator. I walk down to the gym, and guess what? It was fucking closed. In a city that never sleeps, the gym was
be.
closed. So then
I'm used to. I'm sorry, I'm used to going to a 24-hour gym. I just wasn't.
Right, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
But I just stood there and I was like, do I really want to go back up the elevator, or do I just stay here till tomorrow? I was like, I might just stay
Yeah.
down here. It's not worth it. But
Yeah,
that,
it's ridiculous. It's just, and we haven't even started the con really. You know, like,
no, that was like preview night.
sorry guys, I'm still dealing with this weird cough. Um, so we go into the con, you know, and immediately I can tell from the first day that, you know, everyone has a different day. You know, you go, well, sometimes Friday's big for some people, sometimes it's slow for other people. But here's the thing, folks. Artist Alley is basically it's print swap meet alley. Like, it, I'm not blaming the artist for this. I've never blamed the artist. Everyone wants to say, well, if artists fucking shouldn't do this stuff. No, this is on every convention ever. Conventions just want to make their money. There's so many Comic Cons now. When I was a kid, there was like one Comic Con. You know, maybe like a fantasy. It was San Diego Comic Con. Then there was like maybe a fantasy con somewhere. And there was Ape, which was all about super indie comics, you know. And Artist Alley, when I was a kid, teenager, going to Comic Con in the early 90s, mid 90s, Artist Alley was where artists who were there for the show, where DC would fly them, Marvel would fly them, or if they were independent, like an Image or on their own, they would go themselves, a Valiant. They would have a booth in the back that they could then hang out when they're not signing, because they're not at those tables signing all the time. They would be for an hour at DC, an hour here. So they could go to that table, and most of the time they'd be working on their books that were still due. Because you know, guys, even though you go to con, shit's still due, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, when I was a kid, one of those booths would have a guy who would have some fan art prints. And they were usually super sexualized, kind of like what Zenoscope is now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that would be like the one guy there. And that dude was always considered weird. Like, it was like, that's odd, you know? Because Artist Alley was for that. Small press was where you would then go look for indie books. There would be a small press section, and then you would have the main floor, which would be the big publishers. How it works now is there's a main floor that has fucking everything you've ever seen. It has an Image, it has a chiropractor service, it has caricature artists, it has guys who sell stuff, or guys who sell toys and use shit are intermixed. Like at Comic Con back in the 90s, the vendors who would sell old comics and toys and merchandise were put on one side of the con. Then next would be the main publishers, then the small press, then Artist Alley. It was so easy to navigate. It was so easy. You would just be like, all right, I know what section I'm going to go. That's over here. I'm going to go do this. And you go upstairs. All the panels were upstairs. Now every con is a giant fucking clusterfuck of I don't know what. You know, you just never know. It's the worst form of Vegas, you know, in a way. It just coincidentally happens to be in Vegas, but every con is like this. It's like the worst form of Vegas where you just see a line forming somewhere and you get in it. Right, Brandon? You know when you're on the strip, you just see a line, you're like, I guess I'm going to this club now because there's a line. And you get there and you get all the way to the front and it's just like, it's just the line's over. There's nothing there. Like, you know, cons like that. And Artist Alley has basically become a way for comic conventioners, to monetize the floor space. So it used to be Artist Alley was like, when they started letting you buy a spot, you had to buy a spot in small press. When small press filled up, they moved it to Artist Alley. Any artist could be there. You individually represent. Save some money, you know what I mean? Very, very small fee. Artist Alley now is what the prices for Artist Alley is what the main floor used to be, and the main floor is ridiculous. So if like a table in Artist Alley is $300, the main floor is $600 to $800 a table for a 6-foot, 10-foot table, like, you know. And so what Artist Alley has become is this place where they used to have these rules in Artist Alley too. You could have one display behind you, and it can only be a certain height. They used to have this rule: nothing over 6'2" or 90 inches or something was the rule. 72 to 90 inches, depending on them. Now it's just people erect. What they do is they get these giant poles, and they take all their prints and put them in little sleeves, and they just tape them all up. And so you got these giant fortresses, these print fortresses, you know, these print fortresses. And what they do is they take these prints, they sell them at a con, whatever, you make a certain amount of money, and then they go to like a few other cons. I estimate it has to be between 4 and 8 other cons to make their money back. I don't do any of this stuff. I don't do that stuff. I do a print Kickstarter once every other year or so now. And even then I only run it for a week or so. Here's why, folks. It turns, it's not that it turned to con. What happened was the people going to con expanded into something completely different. So when I was a kid, if you went to Comic-Con, you went because you loved comics. And this was the one place the entire year you could just hang out with people who loved the same shit you did. Because no one at fucking school, except maybe one or two friends, liked comics. Or would admit to it. But when you go there, you could look around and say, you're that kid at school that hated comics. No, I love them. But they wouldn't talk about it at school. So, like, this would be the place. When the Spider-Man movies hit, somewhere around the Spider-Man movie era of stuff, cons turned into Hollywood or pop culture cons. So what happened is when people go to con, these people going to con now, when you see 100,000 people, they're fans of pop culture now. They're fans of like Supernatural, The Walking Dead TV show. I'm not talking the comic. Some people do, but most of them never read a comic in their life. They're not there for comic. They're not there to get, oh, I want to meet Bab Starr, right? I want to meet fucking Megan Hetrick. I want to meet Greg Capullo. I want to meet the inker. I want to meet the colorist on the book that I've been reading for like the last year. None of that shit. It's people who just know the pop culture side, the movie side, the TV side, the movie side, the TV side, period. And when they're there, they want a souvenir of something. And they generally, the big studios, if they sell things they're selling to you all the time. So you go to Comic-Con, they may give away an 11 by 17 promo print, but if they're selling something, it's the same shit they got everywhere, for the most part. So these people, they want to get something that's new, but it's a souvenir, it's something they know. They're not looking for your creation, Ashley. They're not looking for my original creations. They want to get something that they know, usually for their kid, you know, maybe for themselves or for a friend, of like something like, oh, I like the Hulk. Oh, I like Wonder Woman. Oh, that's what the mentality is. I know this because I spent the last 10, 12, 15 years reading markets. I have to go into a Walmart and observe what is the Walmart customer on the West Coast. Take a flight, go to the Midwest. Take a flight, go to the East Coast. Find out what the different, go upper East Coast, lower East Coast. I had to figure out what the general mindset was for customers anywhere I went. And this is the customer for Comic-Con. They want to get a souvenir, much like when you go to the circus, you want something from the circus. They want something they know. So Ars Alley has catered to that. It's been that thing. And so every year, artists freak out because they're selling less because more people go, but it costs more to go, so they spend less money. And then they shove more artists in Ars Alley, so, you know, and more of those artists have more volume of stuff, so the same amount of money is being spent, it's just being piecemealed off amongst smaller and smaller people. So these artists then have to go to a bunch of other cons. So people go, what's your con schedule, Rob? And they got to do this giant con trip. And some people love that. Some people love it. I hate it. Like, I hate it. I hate it. And they go, well, Rob, if you hate it so much, why do you even talk about this? You should feel, you know, fucking, because like fucking, like, where else am I supposed to bitch and get away with it? I mean, really, like, this is my place to bitch. So I did for a year or two say I'm not doing any more shows. Remember that, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I came on. I made a whole announcement. I got a big announcement, guys. Josh and I went on, and we're like, no more conventions. I have never gotten more negative feedback from my audience, which, small as you bots may be, you know, you're strong bots, but, you know, it's
You're
constant.
sketchies, the crafties.
No, half of them weren't real. They're just Russian bots. I know it. So there's a few people in the chat room, but there's a lot of bots. I don't believe there's 16,000 fans on Instagram or 23,000 fans on Instagram, 16 on Facebook, and another. I don't believe there's a combined. I think out of all those people, there's still like 200 people, and the rest are just internet bots. That's what I tell myself every day. So
honestly, I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't know if you really believe that, because I do think that the way that Facebook and Instagram are now, it's like they filter. Like, people follow so many people that they filter, like, based on what they've liked in the past. They just keep filtering the same shit from people.
They may as well be bots, though. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I know, yeah.
People
like to inflate their. Yeah. I worked in game magazines. I watched them inflate subscriber numbers to get money for advertising revenue. So when you see someone with 1 million subscribers, you're talking about a pool of maybe 10,000 people that actively do anything. It's always 10% of your number.
Yeah.
You know, and out of that 10%, just assume 2% will actually give you money.
Sure, yeah.
So that's just the math I do in my head. Anywho, those people, man, they were like, you betrayed us. Like, right? I used to believe in you. How could you not go? I'm never going to get to meet you. I'm like, yeah, who cares? Do I do enough to warrant? Here's what happens when you meet me. Hey, what's up? You're awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Get con flu, and I'm fucked up for that for another month, you know? This isn't con flu. This is airline flu. I actually survived con without getting sick. It's the one upside. But I could tell that first day based on the square up, the digital sales, and the physical sales on the floor that I was going to have to make my money doing commissions. So that presents a logistical challenge, right, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
So normally people do commissions at the table while they're selling stuff. I brought Brandon so I could work at commissions while Brandon is selling the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this is the first year where every commission was on a sketch cover, which forces me to do all of my prep like in the room. And here's why. I don't draw on the sketch cover and go, there's my thing. Here's why. Because if I fuck it up, I just fucked up your fucking 10, 20, sometimes a $50 sketch cover. Right, Ashley? Like some of those people, they pull them out. This has been CCG'd or 8.4, some fucking nonsense. Or it's a variant 1 in a million fucking sketch cover and they want you to draw on it. So
hey, Rob, how do you feel about the CGC stuff?
I think it's the back. You ever read a magazine called Wizard Magazine?
You know I have.
You know, in the back of Wizard Magazine, there was this pricing guide. And the pricing guide would tell you how much your comics were worth. But were you ever able to sell? Were you ever able to sell those comics for that price?
Never.
So the CCG is just the Wizard pricing guide to comics. Good luck selling it for that price. It's just what they value it as. It doesn't mean anything. So I move on, guys. Something is worth to you what it's only worth to someone else to pay you for. I had to learn this basic economic lesson in the 90s because Wizard Magazine and that it's called Speculators Market. That Speculators Market killed comics, bankrupted Marvel. Remember Marvel with their hologram Spider-Man covers, all that bullshit?
Yep.
The whole fucking same thing, man. Bankrupted the fucking entire industry. And it taught me a real good lesson in economics. So when the housing market started to become a speculator's market in 2003, I told my real estate friends, we got 5 years till the market crashes. And I almost got thrown out of someone's house. I was at a barbecue. And I was at a table full of real estate, friends who got into real estate. I had just started college, so I still felt like I just did the Army, got into college. I still felt like a little kid because they're like, we're into real estate, we own homes. And I'm like, well, this is a giant speculator's market. And they're like, well, why? I'm like, because my dad's shitty fucking home that's falling apart, that doesn't have carpet, has a cement floor, was valued at $500,000. And there's no fucking way that house is worth it. You know, but in California, they're like, it's valued this much. Well, he could never sell it for that much. He sold it for fucking pennies on the dollar. Or the whatever did when they stole his fucking shit from him. I'm deviating. That being said, CCGs are just speculator stuff. If you can sell it to someone who wants it, great. Otherwise, it's not worth what they say it's worth. It's just a fucking number. But that does mean something to the person who wants art on the sketch cover. And as we all have learned, Ashley and Brandon, right? Especially Brandon, like he had to inform me of this. Not all sketch covers are created equally, right? So the paper stocks on sketch covers range from fucking sucks to nightmare. Like, there is no sketch cover where you're like, oh god, this is the golden. I've never drawn on anything like this. This is, you know, you have an orgasm while you're drawing. Like you just want this paper stock forever and ever. You know, it doesn't exist. The minute you start drawing on a sketch cover, you're like, you start going back to the 3rd grade. Like you didn't know how to draw. You know, like all your technique went out the window.
Yeah.
You know, you start, none of your pens work right, your colors don't work. What was it like for you drawing on sketch covers, Ashley?
Well, I had one pencil. Like, okay, people kept wanting color, and I was like, well, if you get color, you're basically getting a sketchier version of me, because that means it's gonna have to be in ink. And the one guy actually came up to me and was like, "What do you want? You want pencils or color?" And I'm like, "How about pencils? Let's do pencils," because I was like, "You're gonna get really good lines if you do pencils." So I gave the pencils that I did turned out great. I did Max pencils, turned out great. Except for somebody thought it was a giant ass from far away, and I can't blame them. It kind of does look like a giant ass from far away, but that's beside the point. The other two, I had to do Grail and Leia, and they turned out fine. They were just a little bit sketchier versions of like my work, But as far as the paper goes, I didn't really mind it, except for you gotta sometimes the stuff goes off the page, and you got like a little bit on the back, like Leia's gun. It was like on the back page, sort of. And, I was like, well, that's how it goes, But as far as the paper itself and then the media, all that, it went fine. It went fine. But, so it wasn't the best. I had one commission where I got to do it on 8x11, got a Batman commission. And that was cool. I enjoyed that because, one, it was a flat piece of paper, and it was a little bit bigger, more space to work with. Didn't have to worry about a title, at the top. So, but yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah, for me, it works like this. So, to avoid just drawing on someone's sketch cover and then not fucking it up, I have an app on my phone. Let's see if I can bring this up.
Game changer.
It's called AR Lucidia. AR Lucidia. You can barely see it. It should freeze, but it's AR Lucidia. They have Camera Lucidia on apps. On Android, it's AR Lucidia. How it works is like this. You take a drawing, right? You snap it. You can save an image. You can take a picture with your camera. And then you open up AR Lucidia, and you pick the image you want, and you position it. You place your camera on something not moving. So I use one of those square cubes on my table. You know those little cubes you can, they got the knobbies, you can put them together yourself. It's what's right back here. Those cubes right behind me. I have one of those cubes I set up. I put the phone on top of the cube so the camera's facing through one of the holes. I then put the sketch cover in the cube. I usually put like a, I just lay it flat. Put the sketch cover in the cube. I'm looking at my phone, right? I'm looking at the phone. You scale the drawing to the surface you want to draw on. It's the proper distance, that cube. You need about a foot. Then you hit draw, which locks that image in place. So then I can zoom in with the camera, put my hand under the camera, right on the sketch cover, and my fingers look all big. But you can then trace your sketches onto any surface. It's a way of lightboarding or projecting in a way, using your camera basically as a projector. It's weird. It's going to look like scribbly dog shit, but it gets your drawing on the page. So what I was able to do was work out all my sketches at all my layouts for the commissions at Con at a sketch card size. I would sketch a little figure at 2.5 by 3.5. I just brought a sketch card with me and traced around it and sketch in there. I take that basic pose, blow it up using AR Lucidia onto the sketch cover, and then finish the details. Some people were saying, oh, your art looks rushed. I'm like, well, it's a fucking con, man. Like, how long do you have per commission to work? An hour? 2 hours? 4 hours? The quickest I could get it down, drawn, inked, and colored was 3 hours. As quick as I can move. And they're going to look a little... when you see me drawing, like if you look at the Power Fist, the Iron Man, the Batgirl, there was a Bloodborne, a Maleficent. That's me drawing as fast as I can and coloring. Yeah. And each one represents about 3 hours of effort. That's as fast as I can move, folks. And those are all 9 by 12s. Or 8.5 by 11, whatever you want to see, or a sketch cover. And using the distressing for the backgrounds, which didn't take that long. But it still takes time. Gamal said, what's the app? It's AR Lucidia, Lucida. One second, folks.
Or if you have, I don't know if I have an iPhone 7 Plus, and mine just comes up, Camera Lucidia.
Yeah. Same
Yeah,
here.
on the iPhone, it's Camera Lucidia. On Android, it's AR. It's augmented reality, whatever they're calling it. So, same company. It's $3. There's free ones. They don't work well. Just pay the fucking $3 to $5 for the fucking app.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I tried it and no, don't.
You fought it too. You're like, do I got it? Do I really? And then you're like, fine.
And I haven't even used it because I was already done with them all before I got it. And you told me to get the wire cages, and I was like, well, I have to get mailed here. But yeah, I did kind of the same thing, except that I just sketched out what I was gonna do, really small thumbnail, and then I just resketched it, just kind of again, just because I knew what I wanted. But at one point, the Batman, I sketched the face and I was like, I really like this face. I'm gonna have to, I can't, I tried to redo it and I was like, it's just not the same. So I did the old school thing of like scribbling on the back of the paper with pencil and then putting the pencil, like the pencil side down, and then you just press real hard and the pencil lines are on the new page. And I'm like, got it.
The downside of that is the paper usually can be so bad it can permanently imprint the paper.
Well, the paper was fine because it was good weight. The weight was good.
Right.
And so.
But I've had it where it has, which is why I don't use transfer paper anymore. I came up with this solution because prior to con, I was actually going to do a bunch of sketch cards for Upper Deck. I haven't talked about this. And I had a whole thing where I was going to draw the sketch cards and color them with saucies, and they don't pay much, but I was going to get basically paid to do saucy stuff. I'm going to do all these saucy sketch cards. They sent me all the stuff, worked on their cards, quickly found out that the paper just was not going to work with that. The only way to make it work was to do a little bit of Copic with color pencil. And then I realized I ran out of time, so I had to send the stuff back, and they're all mad at me. And so I'll probably never do sketch cards again. Burnt that bridge in one shot. So I took a lot. That was not a fun. It's like I went from Game Informer high to sketch card low. But the upside is I figured out a process for transferring art onto any surface, short of a projector. So it worked out for the sketch covers. So what I had to do was go up to my room to do all that stuff. And because I needed to draw as fast as humanly possible to get it done, it meant I was on the floor for maybe 4 hours out of the 8, right, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
About half the time. Normally, I'm never gone. I'm gone for.
I kept you in the room. Like Rob would be like, "All right, I'm almost done," and I'm like, "Hey, how do you feel about doing one more?" And you're like, "All right."
I didn't even see Rob on Sunday. Like I had to leave.
I got there right as you left. So I had your pencil sharpener and everything else.
Yeah, I know. I was like, he took my pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
So one thing I forgot to bring was my electronic. I have an electronic one I prefer to use. Anyhow, long story short on that, it was still only like 5 or 6 commissions I was able to do at con. So I took 10 more online to do here, thinking when I get back, I'll spend a week. I can do about 2 a day, and I'll be done with them in that week. Take me about 5 to 6 days tops, and I can relax on Sunday, get back to work. So when I got home, or while I was there, I found out about my father-in-law. And so then I'm like, okay, when I get back, I'll get the roughies all done, and then start to work on them, and then finish it when I get back. And then when I got back, this thing took 4 days. We were gone. I got sick and couldn't do anything. Like, man, dude. So crazy. What else do I have to say? So that's what I'm still doing now. Like, I'm still fucking working on these commissions while other work is due.
What was your highlight of the con, Rob?
My highlight of the con.
Besides spending time with me, of course.
My highlight of the con.
Highlight.
I mean, I got to see a lot of people. I mean, I did get to meet people who seen the art, the Game Informer stuff. That was dope. Mm-hmm. Got to hang out with Ash and his wife, which was fun. Got to hang out with Heath, which was fun. Got to meet Ashley. Got to see her mom eat in a corner. That was fun.
My gosh.
Why was her mom didn't eat with us? That was the weirdest. I was expecting her mom to come down and eat.
I'll tell you this.
Hold on. Let me set it out. Hold on. Let me set it.
Okay.
Ashley, I wanted to get a dinner. That day, Ashley started taking commissions, and I was like, us going out to eat was not going to happen. So Brad's like, I'm up for buffet. And I'm like, fucking motherfucker. So, like, we go to the buffet. Ashley meets us down there, and I'm like, is your mom coming? You're like, oh, yeah, she's on her way or whatever. She shows up and she proceeds to go to the back of the fucking. It's an empty buffet, man. She's like in the back behind a pillar by herself. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So you want to explain what was that all about?
Okay, so before the trip, I was like, yeah, like we're probably gonna go eat dinner like before, like a month before the trip. I was like, yeah, we're probably gonna go eat dinner one night. I didn't really know what was gonna go on, and I was like, you can like come eat with us. She's like, oh, I'll probably just do my own thing, and I was like, oh, okay, like we kind of talked about it a few times, and that was kind of like her idea on it, and then like I guess this was Saturday. You guys had left, and I was still like, I had all my shit to carry back to the room, or but you're like, we're just gonna go straight to the buffet, and I was like, oh, okay, and I was like hurrying, and she had to pick me up because I had all this stuff, which I'm totally not doing next year. But anyways, so she had to pick me up, and I was like, yeah, I gotta meet Rob and Brandon, and and I think she was in the middle of sleeping. I woke her up, so she was not in the greatest of moods. Or she just felt like I was trying to rush her, and I wasn't. I was just like, But anyway, so we got to the hotel, and she was like, just get out of the car. And I was like, okay. And she like yelled at me, and I was like, I'm gonna get you back. Like in my mind, like not really, but I just was like, you didn't have to yell at me. And so like, I didn't think she was gonna come eat, and she did. And so I was like, oh. Hey mom, because she like touched me on the back, and I was like, and I was like, oh, she's so mean. She yelled at me, and I was like totally kidding because I like you thought I was kidding too, right? Like I was kidding. Like I was just like she yelled at me. Like me and my mom, we fight because she's my mom. But anyway, so she like ha 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 goes away. And she met you guys, and everything. And I was like, I totally was clueless. And I look at my phone and I get this text that was like, you're so rude. And I was like, I look back and she's like in the corner, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in deep shit. And I was like,
and I could see you looking at your phone, and I saw the expression on your face.
And you were like, you guys are talking about like commissions. You're like, look at Ashley, she's getting all stressed out about the commissions. I'm like, no, it's not the commissions.
No. I knew it had something to do with your mom because she's sitting in the back. So I told Brandon, you want to go see her mom? And you go, Brandon goes, oh, you're joking, right? And I'm like, no. Like I could just, you go, could you guys maybe, And I sent Brandon back there because I was afraid I'd make it worse. Like, I can put on a good show, folks, when I meet people, but when I'm super exhausted, I found it's just better. Like if they want to come to the table and relax, but I'm like, if I go over there, I don't want to. Send Brandon. Everyone likes Brandon. Brandon.
I'm really good with people.
He's good with people.
People pleaser.
Yeah. So I sent Brandon over there. I figured they would all come back, but then she didn't come back. I was just sitting in the corner eating by herself. So next year we should have. Next year we should all have a dinner.
Should we tell everybody how it ended? Where me and Ashley.
So I was like, because Brandon's like, Brandon's like, you want me to make it better? And you're like, you don't think I'm serious, do you? And I was like, wait, no, will you, please? And I was like, please, I'm going to be in trouble the whole time. Like, not in trouble, but you know what I mean? Like, she's going to be mad at me. I don't want her to be mad at me. And so we go over there. And I was like, my mom gives me the death glare. And I'm like, hey, look, we brought Brandon. And then she, like, immediately lit up. Like, not lit up. She just totally.
Beefcake. Look what's on the table now. Yeah. Who felt Brandon's muscles?
Ooh, that's right.
She reached over.
And then Brandon kept making jokes about my mom, but which is totally. He's like, is this bothering you? I was like, no, it's fine. And like, he's like, really? Are you sure? And he just kept it, and it didn't bother me at all. But it amazed me how many times you just brought it back around. It was hilarious.
I'm an asshole, but I'm also a considerate asshole. Like, I mean, this was our first weekend meeting. So I was part being myself, where I will say some fucked up jokes and I will say some shit that probably, I shouldn't say, but it's funny and I get away with it. But then I was also like, oh shit, it's just me and Ashley at the table. Maybe I should just be like, is that okay? And then my brain goes, nah, that shit was funny. Say something else.
It was like totally. I was not offended at all, and she wasn't either, for sure. Like, so, but it was just funny. It made me laugh. It was a good time.
For me, the goal was, as always, folks, when a 40-year-old man invites your 20-year-old daughter to go to Comic-Con with him, I just want you to know it isn't for nefarious reasons. You know, it's out of a mutual respect, friendship, camaraderie. You know what I mean? Like
You didn't invite me for nefarious reasons, Rob.
I don't like being in the same room as Brandon. Brandon snores like a fucking Warner Brothers cartoon. Like it's
Rob puts the heat on.
I don't put the heat on. I leave it at 74. Brandon needs it at 52.
I need it at 73 or 72. That's what my
Brandon, it was 68,
cold.
and you were like, "It's not fucking cold enough."
That's so good. Yeah, because I gotta wear a shirt and
so
clothes.
you just said 72, and now you're like, yeah, it was down at 67. It was like closer to 64 degrees, bro.
Yeah, I have it at 73 at my place because I'll have my shirt off and I'll have basketball shorts on with you. I gotta make sure I'm fully clothed.
That T-shirt is adding 20 degrees worth. It's fucking ridiculous. So, anywho, being in a room with Brand, I didn't bring my headphones because I didn't think about it. If I just brought my noise canceling headphones, I could have ignored most of Brandon's. It's like right out of those old cartoons. Like it goes in, it comes out, and then
Rob is such a loud talker that when we were first in the room, Ashley texted me and said, "Hey, are you guys talking about Star Wars?" And I'm like, "How the fuck do you know that?" And she's like, "I can hear Rob through the walls."
Look, if you can hear me through the wall,
you guys were right next to me, and I've been looking for you guys waiting for you.
That
guys,
was weird, right? So the room these rooms are connected by a door. In the room on the other
door,
the room on the other side, Ashley just happened to be staying in. Of all fucking weird things,
that door can open, right? Like no, but who can open the door? Is it both people can open the door?
The key master.
Cleaning.
Oh, okay. So is it totally locked? Like you can't.
Yeah, you can't get in.
It. Okay, yeah. It's just not that I was like worried. I was just like, that's.
No, I was making a Matrix joke.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, no one cares about Matrix sequels jokes, Brandon. You're making a Matrix sequel joke.
Ask me what my favorite part of the convention was.
Brandon, what was your favorite part?
Of course, hanging out with my best bud Rob. Yeah, we get along. Meeting Ash, his wife, was awesome. She was very nice, and your mother was very nice. Everybody else, you guys are all a bunch of assholes. But no, I mean, it was really nice. It was cool to meet people, especially like meeting Ash and talking to him and actually going to dinner with us. Actually meeting you, that was, it's like, hey, I've talked to you for a year or two.
Fortunately, I called you at the concierge counter, and I was like, I'm calling their room because I can't get a hold of them. And you're the one that you pick up. I guess I woke you up, right?
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I woke you up, but I was like, Brandon,
Oh, you were super hyper, and I'm not a morning person.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not really a morning person either, but since it's 2 hours behind my time, I am a morning person suddenly. So, because I don't get up till like 10 or 11 normally.
Oh, that must be nice.
So I at least bought the room through Monday, so I was able to not leave Sunday night. Brandon had to leave Sunday night. Ashley had to leave Sunday night. But then Brandon took a commission that was pencils only, and I couldn't get that
but I
done.
took it on like Friday or something.
Couldn't get it done Sunday. No, he didn't take it Friday. It took it Saturday. So couldn't get it done Sunday. So they agreed to pick it up Monday because he didn't want me to ship it to him. So I still had to draw it that night. So I didn't. Still drawing while I was there. Let me think. What else? Look, the booth looked good. Here's the thing. I want my booth to look artistic. I'm not going to do the fucking print Mageddon fucking thing. So I told Brandon, moving into next year, we got the plan, I think, is going to roll like this. I want us, right now they got us in the back. I've been doing this con now for 3 years. I deserve better placement. I'm not saying in the front's going to sell more. I just don't want to be in the back next to the caricature artists and the people from fucking Brandon's hometown. You know what I mean? Like, I am a working professional. I do think I want a better position. You know what I mean? Like, you can move me somewhere a little bit more in the middle with the other fucking pro artists that are back there. That's all I'm asking. I want to be amongst a bit more of my peers. The first year we did it, I was next to Mark Bagley. I'm fine with that. I don't get Mark Bagley money because he's next to me. You know, it's just that I'm at least next to an artist. I'm not next to a guy hawking a million prints. Second of all, I'm not taking any. Oh, so let me talk about this. I'm not taking prints next year. I'll take like maybe 4 or 5. I'm just going to use commissions to pay for the whole fucking thing. So, and then hopefully Game Cave will be done or whatever else, and I'll bring the books with me. But here's the thing. I came back. I had all my prints in the car. I got back at midnight here. Slept straight through the day. Well, we had a nice little heat wave out here too. So when I got my prints out the car the next day, guess what happened? They were all melted. All my inventory just stuck together. Just like, gotta pull it apart like gum. You know, just watching the ink just rip across all the prints. Yeah, they're all heat sealed. So all my inventory was for naught. So, yeah. So I'm going to go that route. Work on maybe bringing some extra art to sell. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm going to definitely pare it down to one table. And then we'll try it one more year. And if that still goes horribly wrong, then I'm just not going to do cons anymore. Like, I'm just going to be done. Done with cons. You know? The amount of money I spend, I could just take 20, you know, I could take 50 copies of a book with me and fly to 4 or 5 different fucking cities and get a fucking car rental and drive to a million comic book shops and peddle books quicker and with less effort than this would take. You know, like this isn't my game, guys. This isn't what we do. Like what we're doing here right now, where you see me draw every day and we hang out, I get art tips and unwashed commoners. You know what I don't want to be? I can't compete. I'm not. How do I say this? I'm next to fucking. How do I say it? There's no way I could say this without sounding like an asshole. You know, there's just no way. I don't want to be next in the back to fuck. I got caricature artists right next to me. Literally right across from me are people who draw you like Jay Leno. You know what I mean? For fucking $20. So how am I supposed to sell commissions when I got that fucking weird shit right there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like being in the back used to be a nice thing when I could walk out the back, but if I can't walk out the back, now I gotta go across an entire fucking floor just to get the fuck out of there. You know? So there's a whole slew of reasons. Plus, you know, I got people sitting next to me that, you know, Brandon's used to hanging out with all fucking day, and then they're like, you know, fucking just it's just you know, if I want to feel like a nobody, I can do that here. I don't need to go there and do it too. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just I just know I'm not enjoying it, and if you're not enjoying it, what's the point, right? So I need.
I was gonna say I would have enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I would have enjoyed it so much better if it were like 10 degrees warmer in there.
Well, Ashley dressed in like Pokemon trainer gear.
Hey, how can you freaking? There's like people dressed in cute cosplay, and I'm like, I don't want to just be like I'm in my sweatpants.
She was in these shorts and a shirt. She was in these shorts and a shirt, and the first day her lips were turning blue. She was so cold. Like I was like, get some fucking coffee or something. Like warm up, bring a sweater.
I'm just bringing sweatpants next. I give up. Sweatpants.
Well, I want the fucking position we had 2 years ago, Brandon. I think that's what people understand. We had good placement, and then when they moved us to this con, we had okay placement, and this year it got worse. Why are we going? See, here's the thing. Brandon supposedly knows the guy who runs this shit, and I'm like, can't we just get a decent fucking spot? You know? Like, just something that's like in the middle. I just want to be in the middle next to another regular fucking artist. You know? I don't care. Like, the people on our left, they had an indie book. That's fine. But then on the people on the right, he's a cool dude, but it's just the mega version of... I don't want to be in the print fucking thing. You know? I don't do it, and I'm not going to do it. I'm never going to do it. You know? It's not something I can do... I don't need to go fucking 12 hours out of my way, spend a month preparing to sell fucking $200 worth of prints. I could sell $200 worth of prints saying, guys, there's some prints in my store. You know, this is ridiculous, man. Like, I used to go to these cons to network to get new jobs. So my booth and my portfolio and any work I had there was really because editors used to come into Comic-Con, flip through your stuff, and if you fucking were a hidden gem, they hand you your business card. That's how I've gotten all my contacts. That stopped in 2013. Somewhere between 2011 2013, it stopped. They don't go back there anymore because it just angers them to see all the prints or whatever, or half of them aren't even going to cons anymore. These editors, they're just sending, the talent and booth runners to move books. So, I like the idea of being able to say I go to a con, but this fucking thing, like, I would rather be able to have a piece of luggage, I load in 50 sketchbooks and, a print stack this big, and fly in for fucking 60, $120, and not have to deal with all this nonsense. That would take off a great deal of stress. And then Brandon, if you have some fucking magical talent with your friend, it could get us better placement. I miss the old hotel. It used to be in Southgate when we first started, and it was amazing because Southgate, you could just take the elevator down, walk right into con. And for some reason, they moved this convention center to grow the con. The cons need to stop growing. Just be like, this con is it, man. We have so many tickets, that's it. But to keep growing the con, to bring more people, then Artist Alley, goes from being 200 a table to 500, 450, 400, 400, 600. It's just ridiculous.
Where no one can make their money back, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you have to pay for your next year's booth at that con. So whatever you made at that con goes right back to the con. I'm like, this is fucking cruel. Like, this isn't, And then if they cancel the con, it takes how many months to get your money back, Brandon?
Couple.
Yeah, so you have to pay there for the year before, and if they cancel the con, you could spend months trying to get your fucking money back from them if you harass the owner of the fucking place. So, no, folks, I'm not seeing some great... You go, well, this person makes a lot of money. Man, there's some people on Patreon that make $6,000 a month. I'm never going to be that guy, dude. My lot in life is to be the hidden gem. That's my fucking lot. I'm that secret thing that you know about and people have heard of and kind of seen, but no one knows. That's it, folks. That's my lot in life. And I have to base my business model, well, if you call this a fucking business, around that reality. That this is just going to be this cool fucking place where I do something very specific and we build a bunch of like-minded people, and I am totally cool with that. That being said, it's not compatible with certain things. And me going to 7 fucking cons a year is never going to happen. One, there's waiting lists, so it can take 2 years just to get that rolling, even if I wanted to do it. But 2, I can't fathom a reality where that's something I do every day. Or every month, It's just not what I want to do. I just want to be able to say I go to a place where if you're there, you can come meet me. And if you can't go this year, I'll be there next year. And I think Vegas, when you look at it, is a place where you could go, take a vacation, happen to go to con, and then go to Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like con, you're in Vegas. You can do whatever you want. So, makes the most sense. But I got to trim this $1,000 thing down to like 500. Is how it works. So just because it's just the model is not economically viable. Who knows, man? A year from now, they could grow the con out and then they're like fucking booths are 450 a table. Sorry. And the hotel goes up to 100 and how many fucking dollars a night, it's just, it could be cruel. It could be even crueler. That's what happened to PhoenixCon. That's why I stopped going. Right, Brandon? Like, they wanted $450 for Artist Alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus all the bullshit that came with
Plus $150 for Wi-Fi, which they got sued on. Yeah. And you still had to pay for parking.
And you have to go file for your own tax and everything. And I just now, the last one we did, I think we did PhoenixCon together when I had that table 2 years ago. I just now, maybe like a couple weeks ago, talked to the IRS tax guy about how I didn't make any money at that con. I didn't use the table after, and I haven't used it in 2 years. And I mean, he was really nice about it, but he called me. I had to call him back. He had to email me this thing, and it's a hassle.
Yeah.
It's not like people think you just like, oh, I'm gonna show up to con, I'm gonna slang some prints, and I'm gonna meet people and slap hands. It's like, it's not like that. It's fucking tiring and it weighs on you. And I'll be honest, I'm not the world's best artist. And if you don't make a lot of money and you see people next to you make a couple grand, and you know you're working harder than them, but they're just doing the shortcuts, it eats at you. I mean, there's nights where after con, I've called Rob and I said, and this was a couple years ago, I said, hey man, I'll do whatever, just you tell me and I'll switch it out because I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of not producing. And, I fought it, and it's an ego thing. But even so now, like Rob told me, hey, you're not selling anything at the con, you're not drawing. And I just said, okay, because, even if, like Rob said, he's not the most well-known artist, he knows his fucking shit. So I'm going to listen. So the con is a con. That's what it is. It's a con. It's an illusion. It's not. It's just
what it is you could say that and be cynical about it, but the fact of the matter is the business model is this. You need the most amount of inventory covering the most amount of possibility of characters to sell, and you need to move that inventory off a period of 4 to 10 cons.
Right.
To make all the money and travel, inventory, and everything back to produce a $15,000 a year revenue or whatever, maybe a $30,000 a year lifestyle, like that's what we're talking about. And at that point, I'm like, just get a part-time job making $12 an hour, and hustle online, because I don't fully understand the point of this unless you like doing it. My problem with that producing the most amount of characters possible thing is it just breeds getting worse. It breeds getting worse. And everyone else is doing it. So the things that sold this time are the things that I put the most effort into. Final Fantasy IX with all the characters and the fucking controllers. Final Fantasy VII with all the characters and controllers. Battletoads sold a grip. I mean, the things that the Game Informer stuff, like the things I put the most effort in that require sell the most. The things where I'm like, oh, here's a character, and the commissions I make as a print. Maybe one here, maybe something there. That stuff should just be collected in an art book, which then, I don't have 10 grand to print, so I got to go to Kickstarter and do like a $4,000 Kickstarter to get the fucking books printed. So it's a whole different business plan, it's a whole different version, which is fine, but, just because you bring a lot of talent to the con doesn't mean you're going to be rewarded for it. There's a lot of other talent there too. And as cool as I may be, there's a million fucking artists there that are just, better, more well-known, or just, resonate more with people. I don't resonate with everyone, like I have a very unique thing I do. And, when you got someone that maybe they want to see something else, I don't know. I'll never be that guy who's like, hey, you like art? Come over here. Look at me. I don't do that. That's the worst. We don't do hucksterisms here. We don't turn into fucking, check this out. Like this isn't what I do. So
yeah,
there's a way to make it work that involves being more precise and doing a little bit less and being smarter about certain things. That's sort of, until they make it financial. When I say financially unreasonable, when it costs too much to attend, or it's costing the people there too much to attend. And I've seen the people there spending less every year. As it's gotten bigger, they've spent less. So I like a nice, medium-sized, small con. One that fits a small little convention room. Like when I say small, just enough for like maybe 50 vendors and the pros. You can do well there. And fans have a better time. They keep thinking, add more, bring this in. That's going to make it better. It doesn't make it better. It really doesn't. You think it is because now you're going to get to meet that one person, but there's so many other fucking people there, you're probably never going to meet them anyhow unless you start lining up at 4 a.m. the day before. which is what people have to do at San Diego when they want to go to Hall H. They have to line up at 6:30 a.m., 24 hours in advance to get into the room. That isn't a con. That's not what I would go to a convention. To see a bunch of trailers you can just see online or eventually fucking...
That's not fun.
It's not going there. I should try designer con. Yeah, there's always some con I'm missing. So there'll be something I roll to at some point, you know, but I don't know. It's not my focus right now. So this is just the wrap up lessons I've learned. I was happy to have Ashley there, so I took it as a, hey, we all get to meet up and hang out once a year.
Yeah.
But I will not spend the amount of effort I spent on this con ever again for another convention. Just won't. It's not beneficial to you guys, not beneficial to what I want to do. So I'm going to spend a third of the effort, quarter of the effort next year. And then just work around the commissions. So that's basically it. I think that'll solve a lot of problems. It should be Brandon standing outside flipping a sign down, so like, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I should do the spinner. We should get the spinner, dude, where you're like this. Print it, you know, it's ridiculous.
We should give me a potato costume.
Well, next year the goal is to have Brandon selling stuff so he can cover. So I got 2 tables. Ashley's got half of one table. Brandon would have the other half. I'll just put them on the other side. And then the center would be my stuff, so I pay for one table. That's basically, you know, then Brandon will be able to cover his half of stuff.
How are we going to fit? Never mind.
We're going to what?
How are we going to fit?
It'll fit.
Okay.
I'm not going to have 3 binders worth of shit in the center.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So don't worry about all that. Like, it'll fit. There's a lot more room at that table than you think, actually.
Yeah.
So, and then if we can just move the placement a little bit, you know, it'd be nice. That all being said, you know, is there anything else I'm missing, Ashley? Is there anything you want to mention?
No. I didn't get a lot of sleep, but, you know, it's definitely a hustle, but I think I had a good experience. I wouldn't say it was, I know you had, okay, let's put it this way. You had a tougher time than I did, but also you had more to expect. You know, just being who you are, you expect more. I didn't expect as much, you know, so therefore I had a better time. But
I wouldn't say I expected more. I prepared in the event there
Right.
would be more. I assume nothing will happen. I go into every con assuming this is going to fucking go
yeah, I
horribly wrong.
assumed it too. I assumed that I wouldn't do very well, but I think I broke even. Let's put it that way. So in my book, that's a success because it's better than being like, oh, I didn't make any money, you know. So.
And you get to see your Vegas friends.
I did. I really did. I got to see a lot of my friends that were in Vegas.
I got to meet them too.
Yeah. Awesome dudes.
Anything else I'm missing, Brandon?
No. I mean, I think we covered everything. We've been talking for about an hour and 10 minutes now. And just real quick, thanks to Jamal, Jaws, Chad, Kirka, Ash, Comics Legend, Psycho, Chubby, and Jerry and Joseph for joining us on the stream.
And all the other hidden bots out there watching live.
Yeah,
So
it's nice to have people, you know, listening and giving a shit about all this dumb stuff we have to talk about.
So now that Brandon's computer's fixed and we're back to working at a normal pace, you see I've been streaming more. Next week we'll do an art tips Q&A. So if you have questions, you want to know about something, send something my way, we'll do that next Monday. The Monday after we'll do another podcast. I'm going to try to alternate Mondays for art tips or podcasts. So if you have questions or you want to see me talk about something or cover a topic, make sure you leave in the comments below or send me a note, email, whatever, rob@sketchcraft.com, send to my Instagram. I don't care. I'll cover that next Monday and we'll get that up. I'm going to be working tonight on Megavisions and commission stuff, so I'll be back up there. Thanks for hanging out, Comics Legend, new subscriber. Look, he's actually there. And major thanks to Ron Passaro, Pete at Mebay Music, and Brian at Hawk, and all you people who went on Twitter and helped harass them a little bit helped. We solved the problem. Turns out their bot just got really overzealous, and they figured out what the issue was. And like anything else, Brandon, I tend to break systems, right? There's a system, I break it. It's
you are Neo.
It's really weird how it worked out, but we're all good now. Problem solved. All my 20 videos are no longer being hit up for copyright, so we're done. All right, everybody. Be back soon. Talk to y'all. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye. Nice pitch right there. That was nice.